Hi guys, this is Murad from mgtuts.com, and today I want to introduce a new free video course that I record for you. And what this course about? Well, a few times ago I noticed that I'm sitting too much from the computer, and because of that I have some problems with my health. Well, that's why I decided to solve this problem, and I searched a little bit in the internet and find some solution for my problem. I noticed that too many people working in stand, and that's why I searched for some of the solutions, and I find this one. And this is Elevate standing style, designed in New Zealand with some entrepreneurs. Well, I decided to make it for myself, and by the way, I record what I did. I draw it in Autocad, and at the same time I draw it in CorelDraw after I configure it in Artcam and cut it in CNC machine.
Welcome! In this video we will draw main part of our desk, and to do that let's go change view to top view and let's take a line. Well, top side of the desk will be 200mm. Let's activate ortho and draw line 200mm. Then height of our part will be 700mm. Enter 700mm, and the bottom side will be 400. Let's draw from this 400 and hit enter. And also let's move this object into middle of the line. Now we can draw sideline of our part, and let's draw this one again with the line right here. Let's delete this line and let's begin from bottom. And I'm taking line and drawn from here 60mm one here, and the second one 60mm here. And also I'm again taking line and drawing vertical line 50mm height. Then I'm deleting this big line. After I'm going to arc, 3-point arc, and taking first point, second and third. Well, let's delete this line also. As you can see, our part boundaries is ready. Let's join them, and to do that we are entering edit and selecting one object. And Autocad asks, do you want to turn it into one? It means that do you want to convert this line into a polyline? We are answering yes, and from this menu we are choosing join and selecting all objects that we want join, and then hitting enter. Again enter, and as you can see our boundary is ready. Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm taking offset, I'm entering O and entering distance 30mm, and then entering again, hitting enter. 30mm inside, and again I'm hitting entered. Well, this inside line will be only for mark. I will use it to draw lines. After finishing I will delete this line, and let's draw what should be inside. Well, I'm taking line and drawing line about 135, and then I'm taking offset and entering here 50mm and copying line here. Well, why I'm taking 50mm? Because I'll use 10mm material for this desk, and that's why I am taking 50mm. Enter this distance based on your material. As I'm using 10mm material, I will use 50mm to get some gap. And also I'm taking circle, taking shift and clicking right mouse button, and from here I am taking mid between 2 points. I'm taking this one, and I'm beginning to draw circle, and now I am clicking right mouse button and choosing from here diameter. Well, diameter I will enter 70 millimeter, like this. Well, it's ready already, and let's do this way. I'm taking mirror and copying this object into another side of our line. This time I'm taking trim. You can enter trim like this, or you can click on this icon. Well, I'm taking icon and selecting all object that I am seeing and hitting enter. I'm choosing line that will be deleted like this and hitting enter. Well, as you can see, we draw and I need join them, and to do that I need the again called edit, selecting our line, and after as soon as turn into polyline, I'm just hitting enter and selecting all object that I want to join. And if you will click on object, you will see that this is a whole object. Well, what I'm doing, I'm taking my object and moving it into top side of our desk and putting here. Then I'm moving again, entering M and taking from here and entering 60 to move our object to 60 millimeter down. Well, and right now I make copy of this object, and to do that I'm entering array and selecting object and then hitting enter, rectangle. Well, as you can see, it's automatically copy my object to 3 rows and 4 column. And what I'm doing, a column making only one column, and entering gap between object to -60. So why I'm entering minus? Because as you can see, if I will enter without minus, then it will go up. I need that all new copy should go down, and that's why I'm entering minus. Well, and then clicking here, you can see that my object copied. What can I do? I'm hitting enter to exit this command, and again selecting our array and taking from this line. Well, and copying like this. As you can see, we have 10 copies, row 10, and now I need to explode this object, because right now it's all objects copied from one object, and if I will edit one object, all object will be same, but I need different size, and that's why I'm unselecting our object and entering from keyboard explode like this, and selecting our array, again hitting enter. Well, as you can see, this command explode our array group. Well, what I will do to change all this object, I will use stretched command, and I'm taking stretch from here, and after taking command, I'm selecting like this my object. Select that side of the object that you want stretch. Well, I'm selecting this side of my object and hitting enter, taking from this side and make this line longer to 8 millimeter. And again I'm selecting another side and hitting enter, then I'm making longer to 8 millimeter. With the second object I will do the same thing. Right now I will pause and will change all objects, and you do the same, just plus 8 to previous object amount. If you make one side of the previous object to 8 millimeter, then this object make wider to 60 millimeter, just plus 8 to previous objects amount. Well, I already changed all objects. Last thing I want to say you, last object we need to make little bit different, because I already experimentally I noticed that this object should be less wider than another's. these lines must be about 12 millimeters. It's in my situation because I'm using 10 millimeter material. That's why I'm making 12 millimeter to make it correct. If it will be wider, then probably you'll have some problem with the desk standing. Just make this cut few millimeters smaller than another's. Well, I can change it in two ways. I can explode this object and make change manually, or I can use offset like this, offset, and make it smaller to 1.5 millimeter inside like this, and delete outside object. And then from weight we also take 1.5 millimeter from each side, and that's why let's take stretch and select this side of the object, make it longer to 1.5 millimeter, and from another side also 1.5 millimeter. Now it's ready. We make it a little bit smaller. Now our desk main side is ready. Let's delete this one. Our object ready. Well, in another video we will prepare another part of the desk. Let's finish this video. We are continuing drawing our standing desk, and in this video we will draw two parts of our desk, and that back part that hold our desk, and one shelf. Actually we will make it from one single material, and that's why we will draw them together. Well, let's take line and draw horizontal line with the 400 millimeter blade, and again let's draw vertical line to 350, and again let's draw about 370 millimeter line and put this line in the middle of the vertical line. Well, I'm taking again line and drawing like this. Well, I'm deleting this vertical line and taking rectangle and drawing something like 280 to 30 millimeter, and put this line in the middle of the line. Well, and I'm taking trim that located right here, or I can enter trim into command panel and take this command, and after I'm selecting objects, then I'm hitting enter and deleting this line. And next what I will do, as you can see all corners is too sharp, and I want to make it a little bit smoother, and that's why I'm taking fillet that locate right here, and after taking fillet I need to enter some radius, and to do that I'm selecting right here or enter error into command panel, hitting enter and entering something like 10 millimeter radius. Well, I want to make these corners and another side corners a little bit smoother, and that's why I'm selecting this line and this line, again repeating command by hitting space on the keyboard like this, and again like this. Well, it's probably ready, and let's join them, and to do that we are entering edit into command panel and hitting enter, and select our objects, join, then selecting all objects, and to finish we are pressing enter from keyboard, and from menu we are again pressing enter. Right now this object is ready. Well, we need to draw second object. It will be shelf, top shelf of our desk. Well, top shelf I will make based on my laptop size. Of course you can change it, but I will make it with this size. If you want to change it, you can change it easily. Well, and to draw shelf I'm taking a rectangle right here and drawing rectangle with the size about 300 to 250, and also I'm taking again rectangle and drawing about 150 and 250 millimeter size. Well, I'm again moving small rectangle middle of the object, and here also I'm taking trim and selecting objects. Well, I'm deleting these lines, and as in the previous object, I want to make these objects corners more smoother, and that's why I will do it in a different way. Well, first I need to join all these objects, and to do that I'm going to enter and pin it, select our object from menu. I'm choosing join and selecting both objects to join them, and right now they are single polyline object. Well, I'm taking fillet and enter R to enter some radius, and as you can see, as in the previous object parameter that we enter, and as it's 10 millimeter, I'm not changing anything and pressing enter. And before choosing corner, I will hit P, and as you can see here we have a polyline, and after hitting P I'm selecting my object, and as you can see all corners of our objects smoothed in one time. Well, as you can see it's already smoothed. Well, and also I want to make it here a little bit hole for the back side of our desk. Some rectangle with the size to 20 millimeter to 50 millimeter. Well, I want to make it more smoother, and that's why I'm taking a fillet, entering R and changing it to maybe 5 millimeter, and then I'm entering P into panel and selecting my object. Well, it's, as you can see, it's smoothed, and I'm moving this object in the middle of this part. I'm moving here, and again moving to 10 millimeter down like this. Well, as already this object is ready, I'm taking these two objects and moving them and putting here in the middle of the another object, and also I'm again selecting them and moving up to 50 millimeter. Well, as you can see, from one single material we will make two parts of our desk. Big one is the back side that will hold our desk, small one is the top shelf of our desk. Well, that's all for this video, and in the next video we will make another part of our desk.
Well, we need to draw last parts of our desk, and that's under the shelf, and we will make two little corks to get that holes. And let's begin. And I already calculate, and my keyboard and mouse space will be about 500 millimeters. Of course, you can change this parameter. Well, I'm taking rectangle and drawing 500 to 200 millimeter rectangle, and also I'm taking rectangle again and drawing here rectangle 200 to 50 millimeter and moving this rectangle into middle of our big rectangle. Well, again I'm taking trim and deleting these lines, and in the same time I want to join these rectangles. That's why I'm entering edit, pushing enter and selecting all objects that I want to join. Autocad offer me some list, and I'm choosing here join and selecting both rectangles, and again hitting enter. I want to make all corners smoothed, that's why I'm taking fillet, and I am entering R from here and as you can see we have the previous parameter 5. Well, I want to make it 10 millimeter, and again I'm entering P, or you can see on the command line polyline. Well, if I will enter P, polyline will activate, and Autocad is gonna select polyline. I'm selecting, and as you can see all corners are smoothed in one click. Well, this is also ready. Let's copy this hole by clicking here and copying from middle point to middle point of our object. Then I'm moving this object to down to 10 millimeter like this. Well, and the last thing we need to do, we need some corks to put inside these holes. These corks will make our desk more flexible. You can make it in different forms. I will make it in form that I like. Maybe you can make it in any form you like. Well, I'm taking circle, and from here I'm entering diameter and entering 40 millimeter. And also I am taking rectangle again. I'm drawing here 300 to 10 millimeter like this, and taking this one, moving from this point into, let's activate it, let's say quadrant. Okay, and as you can see right now we can snap to 4 points of the circle like this. I'm snapping here. Well, I'm making this one a little bit longer. I will cut all these lines, and to do that I am entering trim from keyboard and selecting both objects, and selecting this one, and deleting these lines. Well, and also I'm taking again fillet, entering R and changing 10 to 5 millimeter, entering enter, and moving these corners like this. Okay, and I'm making pedit, join them, and moving this one into there to make it more economic. I need two pieces of this, that's why I'm entering mirror from keyboard and making mirror copy right here like this. Well, as you can see our desk part over there ready. I want to put some dimensions around the objects, that's why I'm taking switching to annotate and taking dimension and putting some dimensions like this. And as you can see, all of them too small, we can't fit them, that's why I'm selecting one of them, and by the right click I'm selecting select similar. Well, as you can see, Autocad select all the lines that's similar to my dimension that I select, and I'm entering Ctrl 1 to see properties panel, and arrow size, you can see it's too small. Let's make it to about, I don't know, 15 maybe, or 20. and let's call this one, and from text panel I'm entering 30 like this. Let's call this one. Well, we already draw our standing desk. Well, let's draw our desk in CorelDraw, and to begin we are clicking on new icon and creating new document. Let's enter name and click OK. Let's begin from main part, and that's why I'm selecting rectangle here and drawing some rectangle like this. Let's switch to pick tool and enter size of the rectangle here. As you can see, rectangle already selected, and that's why I'm entering 400mm to 700mm size. And we need to make it a curve, and because I can't modify these corners without curve, and that's why I'm selecting here convert to curve. Now as you can see, if I will select shape tool, you will see that we can move all corners. And now I'm selecting my object, and as you can see here you have some parameter. This is a move parameter, and that's why I'm entering 100mm, and again select my object, switching to shape tool. I'm selecting this angle and pressing right button on the keyboard. You can see my corner north move to right, and I'm doing same thing with the right corner. I'm selecting it and pressing left. Well, as you can see, top side is ready. Let's go to bottom side and make changes here. And to do that, I need to measure. CorelDraw not cut software, that's why here having some additional tools that we can use, and that's why I will use rectangle to measure my distance, and that's why I'm selecting rectangle and creating new rectangle. Well, I'm changing its size to 60mm to 50mm and moving this object from this corner to this corner. And after selecting my main object, switching to shape tool and double clicking on line, and as you can see we create here some node, and I'm moving this node into this position and doing the same thing with the right side. Double click on the curve tool, we'll switch to shape tool. That's why I'm selecting it, double clicking on the line, moving to this side, and as you can see we create two nodes here. And now I'm unselecting my object by the pick tool and selecting this small rectangle and taking it from midpoint. As you can see, Corel showing us that this is a midpoint. I'm taking from midpoint and moving to midpoint of the object. Now what I'm doing, I'm again switching to shape tool, selecting my object and selecting one click on the line. And when I will click, you will see that on the parameter panel we have some tools. Right now this line between two nodes is a simple line. I want to change it to curve and create from the curve arc, and that's why I'm selecting one click on the line and clicking convert to curve. And as you can see we get some arrows here, as we can move it and make it different look object, but I will do it in a different way. I will just select my line like this and move it up, and we'll put in the middle of our rectangle midpoint and unselect it. You can see I already create main part. Let's delete this rectangle and let's zoom and create another rectangle here, and this rectangle will be 220mm to 50mm height. And in the same time I'm selecting ellipse, zooming, and as you can see I'm taking from midpoint and creating ellipse. This ellipse must be drawn from middle point, and to draw from middle point I'm pressing shift, and as you can see we are moving from middle point, but we are not drawing circle, we are drawing ellipse through different forms, but I want that it should be circle, and that's why I'm in the same time I'm pressing Ctrl from keyboard, and as you can see now we are drawing circle. Let's put it like this, and after let's change size to 70mm like this, and pressing top to switch another field again 17, while unselecting and moving this my object by keeping shift to this point, and before unholding my mouse button I'm pressing right mouse button fast and unhold both of them, and you can see that we copy our circle from here to here. Now I'm selecting both of them, and I wanna delete these lines and make it whole object. To compound them I'm selecting both of them, and after selecting you will see that on the parameter panel we will get some tools, and I'm pressing here weld. This is a weld tool, and as you can see we weld all of them, and right now our object is whole object. Well, and if you will look in this side top panel you will see that a little bit miscalculated, and that's why this size is 137 but it should be 150, and that's why what I'm doing, I'm unselecting and entering here 13mm, and again I'm selecting shape tool, selecting my object and selecting like this all nodes that I want, and pressing right button to move all nodes to the right, and I'm unselecting, and you can see right now this is a 150mm, and unzooming, let's move this object into this position, middle of the object, and from this panel let's enter 60mm, selecting my object and pressing button to move my object right here. Well, right now I need to make some lines inside of my object to mark it, and to do that I'm selecting my object and selecting from here from menu contour. Well, I'm entering here 35mm and pressing this button inside contour. Well, now let's unselect, and now we need to copy this object. To do that we are unselecting all objects and entering here some parameter like 75. Now what we are doing, we are selecting this object, and from keyboard we are pressing plus button that you can find it on the right side of your numlock keyboard, and when I will press plus button this object will copy it, and as you can see right now we have two objects here. Well, after copying I'm selecting one of them and pressing down button. Well, let's do it again. I'm pressing again plus to make copy and moving it down. Well, copy all of those objects. Well, we need to change all of these lines of these gaps to make them more bigger, because we need to make it something like stairs. Well, we can do in different way. We can unselect object and enter here 8mm, and we can select one side and press left, and another side press right, or we can take this size 150 and plus 8 to each size, as we already add 8 to this object. This object will be 16. We need to move this side 60mm to left and this side 60mm to right. Together will be 32mm, and that's why I'm entering here 182 to make it bigger. But as you can see we get some problem here. You can see end sides of the object change its figure, and that's why it's not good way. I recommend you make it as in the previous object. I'm selecting both of them, pressing left, and I'm pressing again to make it correct, and with the right side again double pressing and make it normal. I will pause and change all the objects, and you do the same way. Just pause and make wider all of our objects. Last hole should be little bit smaller, 3 millimeters smaller than other objects, and that's why I am entering here 14 to change its size. As you can see, it's changed it to that type that I want. Well, let's select contour tool and let's select this object that we create. From here, if you will select, you will see that a parameter panel already activated, and last tool, this is a clean contour. Let's click clean contour and move that object that we create. Well, let's begin drawing another part of our standing desk, and in this video we will draw back part that hold our desk and one small shelf that will hold our laptop. Well, let's drawing. As you can see in CorelDraw, all different looking objects are combined symbol geometric figures that we can see here: rectangle, circle, polygon, and another small tools. We are drawing just simple rectangle and then modifying them and making our object. In our situation, we will mostly use rectangle. Okay, let's select a rectangle and draw some rectangle here. After drawing, we are going to parameter panel and entering 400 to 350 rectangle, and we need to change a little bit changes here. That's why we are converting our rectangle into curve by clicking here and select our rectangle tool and enter here 50mm to distance panel. After that, we are double clicking on our rectangle, and as you can see, we can select nodes. Well, let's select left node and move it to right to 50mm, and select the right node to moving it to left. Well, let's create another rectangle right here, creating a rectangle and enter parameter 280 to 30mm like this. And now we are moving from midpoint and putting it to midpoint of our last object, our big object. Top corners of our small rectangle must be smoothed. That's why I'm selecting object, and from the top panel I'm entering here 5mm maybe let's make it more bigger and enter it here 10mm, and the same I'm entering here 10mm, but the bottom corners I'm not changing because I will combine these two objects, and I'm selecting one of them and then holding shift and keep it selecting another while I'm pressing here weld to make this object combine. Well, backside is ready. Well, last thing we need to do on this object to smooth these two corners. While as we already curve our object and combine, we can't use that parameter that we use here on the top side. That's why we will do it manually, and to do that we need to create some rectangle 10mm to 10mm. Then let's zoom and move our object right this corner, and after that double clicking on big object and again double clicking to create node, and we are moving our node to this point to corner of our rectangle and create a node here and moving here. And then we are selecting corner and deleting node here. Then we are selecting this part of the line and clicking here to convert it into curve, and we need to make it smoother. That's why I'm selecting my arrow and keeping shift, rotate this line only by angle like this. I'm putting here, and again I'm selecting another line and keeping shift, moving it here. Let's move back a little bit like this, like this. Well, as you can see, we create smooth this side of the object, and let's move our rectangle to another side and put it here, doing same thing here. like this. Let's delete our rectangle, zoom out. Well, this object is ready. Let's draw another part, and to do that we are selecting rectangle and drawing here some rectangle with the size 300 to 250 millimeter. Then I am selecting right here and entering 10 millimeter like this. And also I need to create another rectangle right here, and this will be 50 millimeter width and 50 millimeter height. Again, I am taking my small rectangle and move it to this side. And in this rectangle also top corners must be smoothed, and that's why I'm selecting this lock icon and entering 10 millimeter here and 10 millimeter here to make it smoother. Then I am selecting another big one and combine them. Okay, let's create another rectangle, 10 millimeter to 10 millimeter, and do same operation that we did on previous object. Let's move it to this side and selecting our part and create a node, deleting this one, converting into curve, moving this side. Let's draw here another rectangle, 20 millimeter to 50 millimeter, and let's select lock icon and enter here 5 millimeter like this. Now I'm moving this object right here on the middle point, and then I'm entering here 10, and then selecting my small object and pressing down button. Now what I'm doing, I'm selecting my object, taking from midpoint, moving to midpoint of another object like this, and in the distance field I'm entering 50. Then I'm selecting my shelf and pressing top. Well, as you can see, this object is also ready. Let's move it here. 3 parts of our standing desk ready. Next video we will draw another last parts of our desk. Well, let's draw last part of our desk, and that will be little bit big shelf that will hold our keyboard and mouse, and also we will draw some cork that we will hold in this holes to make them more secure. Well, let's draw. We are taking rectangle and drawing some rectangle here. I personally calculate that I need 500 to 200 millimeter material. Well, and I'm drawing this one, and also I'm drawing about 280 to 50 millimeter like this. Actually it's too big, let's make it 200 like this. And what we are gonna do, we are selecting our big rectangle and adding some smooth to corners. As you can see, already lock selected, and let's add 10 millimeter here, and you can see that all corners smooth to 10 millimeter. And also we need to add some smooth to small rectangle, but we need to add some smooth to top left and top right corners. Another corners we don't need, that's why I am unselecting this lock icon and adding here 10 millimeter and also adding 10 millimeter here like this. Now I'm taking this rectangle, I put it in the middle of the another object, and also I'm selecting both of them and combining. Well, and we need to add some little smooth to these corners. As I show in previous videos, we will draw some 10 millimeter to 10 millimeter
rectangle and putting it here. Then we are double clicking on big rectangle and adding some nodes like this. Then deleting this node and converting this line into a curve and moving our lines like this. Let's move this object to another corner and do the same thing here. Let's delete objects and this one also. It's almost ready and we need to add some hole here, and we can do it by copying this object right here and let's put it in the middle. And also we are, as you can see, it's 10mm, adding 10mm here and moving our object 10mm down like this. Wow, it's okay now. And also we need to draw some curve and like this. Let's make it 40 to 40 and let's also draw some rectangle like this. It will be 50mm to 30mm tape. This put it here, and let's make it a little bit longer. As we will combine them, we will not see this part, and that's why it doesn't matter how many long you can make it. Well, and let's add some 5mm smooth to all corners like this. And also I'm selecting both of them and combining. Well, it's ready. Let's put it here to save place in the material. I'm putting one piece here and another piece here. Let's select all of them, and by pressing Ctrl G, let's add them to group. And what we will do next, we will nest on the material. I'm gonna make it for 850 to 750 like this. Let's select this object and press Ctrl G to group them, and these ones also. Okay. And let's move it into this place. Let's mirror vertically. Well, we already here, and now we are ready to export our file and import into Artcam. We can import our drawing into Artcam in several ways. It's file formats like EPS, PDF or DVD. Autocad file we will export from CorelDraw into DVD, then we'll import into Artcam. So let's begin. As you remember, last video we make our layout 850 to 750, and now we need to export this file. Before to do that, let's double click on the rectangle, and you will see that automatically around layout created new rectangle. Well, let's select all of them and press export. From this we are finding where we want export, and also select only and click in export. Here you need to just change units, as we draw in millimeter, that's why change to millimeter and click OK. Now we need to switch into Artcam, and let's create new model by clicking new model and entering something like 750 to 850 model and click OK. Now we need to import our DVD file into Artcam, and to do that we are going to vector and import. From there we are finding our standing desk and clicking OK. You can see that we are getting parameters of the imported file, and also we can change it from millimeter to inch
and also you can see check it center of the model. Actually, most of the time we don't need to change anything here. That's why we are clicking OK to put our file here. Let's select boundary and delete. For first, I'm selecting these objects and these two objects like this. I need that these holes must be net size 6mm diameter milling cutter. There's a few ways to cut these holes as we already select. Let's go to toolpath and from this toolpath selecting create profile. Well, as you can see profile, we have here three choices: along, inside, outside. You need to understand that how cutting mill will work. Well, if we will put outside, then it will cut outside of the line, and it means that our holes will be 12mm bigger than we need, and that's why we need to cut it inside. It will cut from inside and we will get net side of our objects. That's why we are selecting inside and starting depth. Well, we are putting it 0 and finish depth. Well, I will use 10mm material, but I need to make it little bit deeper. To cut it, we are setting height of the milling cutter manually. That's why there can be a little bit problem if you will put 10mm and it can cut not so deep than 10mm. That's why I'm putting in 12mm. Okay, and next we need to do, it's a profiling tool. I'm selecting this one. From here we can choose milling cutter. Actually, this is not necessary that you must choose aluminium, steel or something. Of course, if you are using special milling cutter that specially made it to cut aluminium or steel, or you want work in some standards, that time you can choose these parameters, but actually it doesn't matter what you are using. Well, I would choose aluminium and round and 2D finishing, and from here I would choose end mill 6mm. Here you can see some parameters of the mill, and I am choosing this one and selecting select on the arrow, and you will see some parameters here. Well, and from this parameter I need to make some changes here. Right here, step down, 12mm too much for cutting mill and it can be broken. That's why I will put that this material must cut it in 2 steps. Well, as I put finishing depth in 12mm, I will put step down to 6mm to cut it in 2 steps. We don't need to change here anything. We can give some name. Let's give name in cut and clicking calculate now. And let's close. If you will zoom, you will see that we get some paths inside our drawing. It means that it will cut from inside. Well, and let's select another object and 1, 2, 3, 4, this one 5, 6. Well, I will set that this object can be cutted along. There will be 3mm smaller than real objects, but it's not so necessary than another inner objects. That's why I will put it. I will go to toolpath, select, and going to create profile path, and from here I'm choosing along. Finish step I'm choosing 12mm and profiling tool. Let's take same 6mm mill and select. Let's add some step down. Okay, it's 3 and I'm making it 6. And as we finished all our settings, I'm entering here name, all objects. Okay, after that I'm clicking calculate. and as you can see, we didn't see any inside or outside because cutting paths are going along. That's why we can't see. You can see that it's a little bit color changed. Now what we will do, let's go to toolpath and choose material setup. I need to set here material thickness. It's not so necessary, but I will make it to see how it will look in 3D view. That's why I'm setting 10mm here and clicking OK. If I will switch to 3D view, you will see that we have here some lines and also we have some material thickness. After we're going to right side, and on the bottom you can see that simulation we have here, and let's see simulate all toolpaths. Okay, and we are clicking simulate. Okay, and now you can see all our objects cut. It will look like that. Now we can send our object into CNC cutting machine, and to do that we are going to toolpath, and from here save toolpath as. We are seeing save toolpath window where we can choose which part we want cut or which one we want to cut first. As you can see, inner cut will cut first, all object will cut second. Of course we can change here, but I recommend you cut first inside, because after cutting outside your material can be moved and then you will get wrong cutted objects. That's why first cut inside, then cut outside. Well, after setting where we want save it and file name, we need to choose from here which file format we want. As you can see, there is this huge list of the file formats. We will use G-code millimeter top for our CNC machine, and we'll save. Then we will import into CNC machine software and cut them. In the next video you will see how CNC machine will cut this path that we prepare for cutting. This is end, and thanks for watching. I hope it helped you a lot.